saith the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress. In Him will I trust. Surely He shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with His feathers, and under His wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler.
A soft place to fall. Yeah, a soft place to fall.
Welcome to a soft place to fall, a place of restoration and rejuvenation. I'm not a preacher, I'm not a pastor, I'm not a coach, I'm not a therapist. I'm your host, Kerwin Fielding. I'm sure you'll find some rejuvenation with our guests today here at a soft place to fall. But for now, here's how I'm feeling. What a beautiful thing, God, to give thanks, to sing an anthem to you, the high God, to announce your love each daybreak, sing your faithful presence all through the night, accompanied by dulcimer and harp, the full-bodied music of strings. You make me so happy, God. I saw your work and I shouted for joy. How magnificent your work, God. How profound your thought. Bullards never notice what you do. Fools never do get it. When the wicked popped up like weeds, and all the evil men and women took over, you mowed them down, finished them off once and for all. You, God, are high and eternal. Look at your enemies, God. Look at your ruined, scattered to the wind, all those hirelings of evil. You made me strong as a charging bison. You honored me with a festive parade. The sight of my critics going down is still fresh, the root of all malicious detractors. My ears are filled with the sound of promise. Good people will prosper like palm trees, grow tall like Lebanon cedars, transplanted to God's courtyard. They'll grow tall in the presence of God, and green, virile, still in old age. Such witness to upright God, my mountain, my huge holy mountain.
A soft place to fall.
Welcome to another episode of A Soft Place to Fall. Once again, I'd like to always remind you, I'm not a preacher, I'm not a pastor, I'm not a life coach, I'm not a therapist. I'm your host, Kerwin Fielding. Welcome to A Soft Place to Fall. Let's see if we can take you on this journey with us in finding a soft place to fall. The education of our children is priority, or should be. But we've looked around and we've noticed that we're limited with the number of black role male models in the school system. But I found some exceptions to the rule, and my guest today is a prime example of that. A very good friend of mine, I guess I can say that. My brother in Christ. Oh, yes.
We're not going to cut up for the camera.
Yes,
today.
we will. Yes, we will. We won't know any other way to do this. It's the only way it's going to happen. But welcome, Ken Dominick. How are you, sir?
Hey, man, all is well, man. Thank you so much for inviting me to this special place, a soft place to fall, to talk about a subject that's truly dear to my heart, and making sure we impact the kids across this nation. And I know I'll say this and get in trouble, but I'm used to getting in trouble. You know, our kids, our black and brown brothers and sisters, they need to see positive role models in their lives to help make an impact and let them know, share our testimony with them that, you know, you see us, we got the degrees, I'm blessed, I got 2 of them, but the reality is I'm a little boy, man, from out South Baton Rouge, out the bottom, out the hood, and single parent home, man, but thank God, He put some real strong men in my life that refused to let me fall. And so one of the things why I got into education was because somebody looked out for me.
Yes.
And I thank God for, I got to always give shout out and props to the late Johnny Cyrus, which is Pastor Leo Cyrus's brother. He's my 5th grade teacher. And that's back when they used to put that wood on your behind. And as you know,
And I'm sure you got that.
yeah, I got quite a bit of it. But those things, man, what certain principles he taught me were instilled into me, and I didn't realize it as a kid. But when I got out, I realized it. In high school, Miss Milligan. In middle school, Miss Brown, Pastor Henry Brown's wife. Those people were instrumental in my life and helping shape and mold me. And I said I had to go back into education. I don't go in it for the money because, as we do know, they don't pay us enough. But I believe teaching and education, it needs to be a calling. And when it's a calling, you give it everything you got. And you say you're not a preacher, but I am. But I believe that when
I was going to get to that, of course.
but I believe that when you're operating in what God has called you to do, He will make room for you in great places, and He will allow you to be blessed. And I thank God my needs are met, and that's because I'm walking in purpose.
And it's interesting that the first person that you mentioned was a black male.
Yes.
Very influential in your upbringing.
Yes.
And how many of our kids these days can look back and say, I had a black male teacher who made an impact?
Yeah. In elementary school, it's not many. Now, more black men trickle in middle school and maybe high school. But in elementary, I remember one of my best friends, he went on home to be with the Lord 2 years ago, Norman Saint-Amant. And he was the principal of the school here in Baton Rouge at the time, Westminster Elementary. And the superintendent came, and he was blown away because he saw so many men in the elementary school. And that was intentional by my friend Norman Saint-Amant, because these young black brothers, they need to see a man, and sometimes we can handle our kids better than anyone else can.
That's key. And that's one of the reasons that I find it so interesting that the few that you do find working in the school system, like you said, it's a passion for them. Mm-hmm. You know, it's a driving force to be that role model, positive role models for our young black brothers.
Yes.
They need to see that.
Yes.
You did something very interesting a couple of years ago, before pre-pandemic, of course, that I was moved by. It was my second opportunity to do that, and it was called Real Men Read.
Oh, yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful program that you invited myself and several other men of color,
yes,
to come out and read.
Yeah.
And
that was intentional. And I make no shame and no apology. Listen, I got friends of other colors, and I love them and appreciate them. But I think when it comes to our kids, mm-hmm. They need to see us in a different light, other than being a rapper, being a football or basketball player. Right. That you can be successful outside of sports and entertainment. And that was passionate to me when I did that, and I put everything I had into it, because I wanted every young man and young girl to see at that school that, hey man, we got positive people. And the blessing what that was, we had them all across the spectrum. We had a pastor, you in radio, we had somebody, firefighter, we had a school teacher, mm-hmm. you know, so we had a variety of people. Yeah. And man, that was a blessing. And hopefully, you know, when this pandemic, you know, subsides, we can have that opportunity to get do that again, have them come in.
Yes, indeed, because like I said, and I don't know if anybody else, I'm always an observer. I always look around and see those people who are behind the scenes, and you were literally running from classroom to classroom. Okay, time's up, let's go, let's change this. And you were a driving force behind that, and I admire that. I've never told you that before, but I admire that so much of you. But I've seen you in action. And not only, you already mentioned that you are a preacher as well. So I've seen you working in the school system. I've also seen you work in the church, and in the community. as much so as that's taken. We're going to talk a little bit more about some of the other roles that you play within our community and the great things that you're doing. I'll go ahead and give you props for what you do when we return.
That means a lot coming from you, sir.
Thank you. We'll talk about that when we return here at a soft place to fall. Are you covered, protected, and prepared? Don't you want to ease your mind by having the confidence that when the time comes, you and your loved ones are protected and insured? It's as easy as picking up the phone and calling licensed life agent Enidra Wells, 225-936-6017. With care and compassion, Enidra will walk you through the entire process of having you and your loved ones covered, protected, and prepared. No exams. Most pre-existing diagnoses are covered. No special requirements. So call today, 225-936-6017, and have the assurance of insurance.
A soft place to fall.
Welcome back to A Soft Place to Fall. I'm joined for Conversations on the Couch with my friend, my brother in Christ, Brother Ken Dominick. We were talking about your role in the education system and your passion for setting the example for our young brothers and sisters who are coming up, and they need to see people like yourself in the community, in the school system, doing what you do and doing it so well. And you did mention, you already gave away that you're a preacher too. Southern Black Baptist preacher, so you know about how much that means. I may have to interrupt him in a couple of things. But your journey into the ministry has taken you quite a few places, and you've seen some things. And
Man, I've seen it all. Started preaching, many years ago. But let me
How
stop.
many?
No, because I knew you were about to say that. So let me rephrase that.
how many years ago?
I started preaching in 2003, and preached my first
Hey, you
sermon.
were preaching before 2003.
Well, yeah.
You started pastoring.
Yeah, and in the Black Baptist Church, we say that's bootlegging.
Yep.
Yeah, so I made it official. Man, right there at the Promised Land Baptist Church, where I was born and raised and baptized, man, and so started preaching, and then I moved to Shreveport, got married to my beautiful wife. Shout out to my wife, my girls, my son, and so we thank God for them. And started pastoring in Shreveport almost 10 years. And then, which in itself was a journey. It was some ups and it was some downs. I learned a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I tell people all the time, I have a master's degree, but in reality I have a PhD in church folk.
Mm-hmm.
Because it gave me a great appreciation, man, for loving people and connecting with people and navigating through difficult and hard times. And I share my testimony all the time. I resigned as pastor in 2015. Everything was great. I didn't resign in a hardship or I was mad or angry, anything like that. God had a transition. And so I moved to Dallas. I resigned. I remember like yesterday I resigned third Sunday in July 2015, and I moved to Dallas August 1st. And moved to Dallas, man, and August 26th, my wife went to cardiac arrest. And pretty much she was dead, and we thought she was gone. But I had to remind myself of the power in prayer.
Come on.
And I believed that God was going to bring her back. And so God brought her back, man. And so we went through a mountain of things, man. Most people don't even know. And so some people are here for the first time, man. I was 2016, February, I was homeless. Me, my wife, and my girls, we were homeless, man. Then just trying to make it happen in the city of Dallas. And I came home for something. My wife, we were praying, and we said, hey, it's time to come back home. Mm-hmm. And so I came on back to Baton Rouge, and man, God opened doors for me, man, like never before. And I'm blessed. And preaching has, it has settled me. It's perfected me, and not that I'm free of issues or free from sin, but it's perfected me for it's maturing me and growing me. Because if anybody would know that, you would. You know the little bad Ken that run around in your fashion shows, you know, and with ill intentions, you know, doing some of everything. But and it's a joy to me because people see me now, and and that's the first thing everybody wants to say. The little bad Ken is preaching.
Let me tell you, and you
I know it's your show. Don't say that. Okay, go ahead.
But I'm gonna say it in a minute. Years ago, Ken is not telling how old he is, but years ago, Ken had the opportunity to go to, along with, I think that was the Soul Children or some community choir, to Bobby Jones.
God's Children, Greg Jones and God's Children.
And as Dr. Bobby Jones is interviewing Greg Jones, you can see Ken in the background making faces at the camera. And I said, are you serious?
Hey man, listen, I grew up around music, been in, you know, doing it for a long time. I was a musician at Eugene Harris Church, Bishop Eugene Harris Church. I started at Antioch on Mickens Road. Then I came on to New Jerusalem in St. Gabriel, and where I met my best friend and my close brother, Jose Reddick. We still close to this day. And so I was always in music and around it. My sister sung, my mama sung. You know, most people don't know, my mama was a choir director at Star Bethlehem Baptist Church. And so I got my first start in music with the late brother Anthony Canty. And so that's how I got to Antioch. Gave my first job. I was 9 years old. 9 years old, making $25 a Sunday. Lord have mercy.
You was a big wheel thing.
Yeah, you know, and so, man, listen, we were doing it, man, and I thank God for every opportunity I had musically, and I dare not, anything I talk about musically, I always give homage and respect to my music mentor, that is Dr. Everett Parker. He was always patient with me, always kind, and brought me my first keyboard, took me to France, you know, with him for 15 days, and was able to teach a class in France, and man, allowed me to explore my musicality with the LSU Gospel Choir back then. And so musically, man, I recorded my album, which you were there. And so, yeah, so I did all of that musically, man, and then God shifted me into preaching, and I just have a heart for God's people. I want everybody to win. And that's my ultimate goal, and I pray for people all the time that we don't have to compete, but we can learn to celebrate. And if we can pass that along even to our children, you don't have to compete.
Important with that thing.
Yes, we don't have to compete, but yet celebrate one another and say, hey, you're my brother, you're my sister. I want you to win. And if we all can get that mentality, man, we don't always have to agree, you know, but we just want to be able to win.
Yeah.
Me and you don't agree all the time.
I was just getting ready to jump right in there. You know, I was going to take that leap right into that. That was a great segue to our relationship, which is quite unique to say the least. We have such a great camaraderie. Yeah. That I want to see you win, you want to see me win, and even though the people that are watching, we go, well, they added. So it's all done in love, and that's one of the reasons why you have been so successful, whether you want to realize it or not, at everything that you put your hands to. We're going to talk a little bit more about that and what the future is going to hold for you. When we return to a soft place to fall.
You're not going to make me cry. You're not going to do it.
Try my best.
Hi, I'm Dr. Bridget Side, and you are watching A Soft Place to Fall, right here with our very own host, Current Feelings. Oh, and don't forget, have a blessed day. God bless you all.
A soft place to fall.
We're back at a Southwest Ball, having conversations here on the couch with my friend, my brother, like, talk about some wonderful things, and not so wonderful things. But they have, all of them have been character builders, I'll say, for the man tonight. And I say, I do remember years ago that I was on my nerves, and on the nerves of a lot of people. But who would have thought that you would be the person that you are, doing the wonderful thing that you do, whether you believe it or not, or whether anybody ever gets a chance to. And like I said, I'm one that I sit back and watch a whole lot, and I have seen you in action, and I see what a dedicated man of God you are to your family, to your community, to your loving mother.
Who'd probably call me about 3 times right now?
Please don't tell her it was me retaining you, because she would have some choice words with me as well.
Yes, she would.
Yes, she would. Yes, she would. So, where do you see Ken Dominick in the next 5 years?
Man, I know this may sound cliche, churchy, whatever, but the reality is, man, I made up my mind last year that I was vacillating between a variety of things, and I made a decision. I said, listen, I would rather be doing whatever the Lord wants me to do and be uncomfortable than to be comfortable being outside of the will of God. You talk about a minute ago, Romans teaches us, man, Paul said, for all things work together for the good of them. And so the reality is, I don't know where I'm going to be in 5 years.
And you know that's a very good answer.
Yeah, and I don't know, because I keep my ear, man, to the mouth of God, and whatever God says, that's what we're going to do. And I know for some people, you have goals and their visions, and I have those things, and I see God, but whatever I do, I leave room for God to interrupt all of that. Because too often we put stuff on paper, and then when you don't go according to that, we get frustrated, and we say, well, I should be here in 3 years because I set these goals, but God has a way of making detours. And I tell people all the time, never ignore the detours, because God sees what you can't see. And the very detour you took that you thought was detrimental to you, He was actually keeping you and preserving you from what was ahead. And so I've had some detours.
I think we need to switch sides. I think we need to stick
but that's the part of the perfecting part I talked about, maturing me, man. Because I'm a person. If you ask my wife, I'm all over the place. I'm constantly thinking. I'm riding in my truck, man, and I don't have the radio on, and I'm constantly thinking about what's my next move, what's the next thing, and I just say, God, whatever you're gonna do, just do it. And of course, I have things lined out. My ultimate goal is to be outside of preaching and pastoring. Is I want my own school, and so I've been working on that for a couple of years, man. My goal is the next 5 years, if that's what God desires, I would love to have my own school where I can really make an impact on our kids. And I don't want a school for profit. I want a school for impact. And so that's where I kind of see things the next 5 years, man. I could be here in the city. I make my wife nervous all the time. I say, we stay packed. Because if God say move tomorrow, I'm moving. And I don't care where it is, you know what I'm saying? And I'm moving. Because whatever I believe, if I follow the will of God, He'll never take me to a place that He won't sustain me, and He won't keep me, and He won't allow me to blossom. Because I believe that old principle, you can bloom whatever you've been planting.
So true. So true. But we'll talk about one thing that we haven't had a chance to talk about. There's a podcast.
Yeah, man. It's I was talking to my pastor. Shout out Bishop Jan Grant, Greater New Zion, man, Shreveport, and I explained to him the whole platform, and I could just see him looking.
You see me.
I said, because the title of my podcast is "I Can't Take This Anymore," and if and I'll be able to share that with you. You know, my it's a picture. You know, your hand just up, because the reality of it is, man, how many young men, black brothers, have internalized "I can't take this anymore," but haven't had the opportunity to really scream it out. I can't take this anymore. Whether it be injustice, whether it be education, financially, spiritually, family, and we have been taught through generations that we have to suffer in silence. And we can make great moves, man, and powerful changes in this community if we just get to a place, man, where we can say, I can't take this anymore, and say that without being in fear of judgment and being ridiculed. I preached a sermon one time, real men do cry, because, we've taught, and think about it, from kids, a little boy, 2 years old, he fall and start crying. What do they say? You're a boy, stop crying. You're a boy, stop crying. And so now we're teaching them to suppress their feelings, and we reserve being emotional to a female. And so what do? We internalize that, and then when it comes out, it's uncontrollable.
It's detrimental.
Yes.
And it's really heart wrenching and sad once you think about that. But that was our
Yeah. I shared a story with a young girl in my school who threw a tantrum, and just went berserk, fighting the whole 9 yards. And she came to me the next day, and she said, "Coach, I teach PE." She said, "Coach, I'm sorry for my actions." And when she did that, now is the opportunity I could flip the script, going from coach, now I'm in preacher mode. And I shared with her this. I said, "Sweetheart, if you don't find a way to express how you're feeling inside, the next time you blew up, it might not be anything that you can recover from." I said, because every explosion doesn't always come with grace on the side. I said, so you gotta find a way. And shameless plug, I want to tell everybody, man, especially young black brothers, hey man, listen, go talk to somebody. In the words of E. Dewey Smith, you need a therapist and Jesus. There's nothing wrong with having both of them. Go talk to somebody. So I just encourage people, man, to go talk to somebody. So that's what the podcast is going to be about. You're going to hear me in a whole different light. I'm going to say some things that's going to rub some feathers, especially within my own community. It's gonna. It's gonna make some black folk upset.
Like that need to be filled. You need to ruffle some feathers.
Stop wearing them bonnets to the people's school. Okay.
Look into this camera and tell people how they can follow you, and all the wonderful platforms and all of that great stuff. And yeah, please stop wearing the bonnets.
Don't wear the bonnets no more. But listen.
Pull up your pants.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay.
We gotta go. Listen, you can follow me on Facebook, Ken Pastor Dominick, the podcast I Can't Take This Anymore, my own business, the Catalyst Agency, all those things you can find on all social media outlets. Mr. I Believe Man, whatever you need, hey, come to social media, you can find me. And I just want to share with everybody who's watching, make sure that you find that soft place to fall, that you can be who you need to be without fear of judgment. God has something special for each and every one of you watching. You're not watching this by happenstance or because you just flipped the channel. God stopped you by this broadcast to let you know no matter what you're going through, there is a soft place you can fall. And there's no other place you can fall. It's in the hands of Jesus Christ. He loves you, and I'm praying for you. Thank you, Kerwin, for this opportunity to share with you. That's the third close, right? That's the third close.
That was excellent.
No, preachers, we got 3 closes.
Okay. I'll be back to wrap things up officially right here on A Soft Place to Fall when we return. comment, and subscribe to what? A Soft Place to Fall with Kerwin Fielding YouTube channel. See you soon.
A soft place to fall.
Here's one of my most favorite segments in A Soft Place to Fall. It's an opportunity for me to tell of the good things that good people are doing. Opposite of what used to happen when you were a kid and you did something you had no business doing, and your siblings would always say, "Ooh, I'm gonna tell on you." Pretty much the same premise, but like I said, we're turning it around. We're telling of the good things. Now we're in the midst of a pandemic, and we just came out of storm after storm after storm. So a lot of people were without the bare necessities of life: dry clothes, a hot meal, toiletries. I met a young man who made sure that everyone in his community had everything that they needed to live a comfortable life as best as they could. He would see to them having a hot meal every day. He would see that they would have dry clothes every day and toiletries for their own personal use. And for that reason, Reverend Stephen Green, I'm going to tell God on you. I tell God on good people doing good things because I want God to bless them. And if you have someone you want me to tattle on, you can send me their contact information at asoftplace@yahoo.com, and I'll be sure and tell God on them for you.
A soft place to fall.
That wraps up another edition of A Soft Place to Fall. Incredible opportunities to talk to extraordinary people is what happens right here on A Soft Place to Fall. And today has been no exception. My brother Ken Dominick came and shared words of wisdom and truth and a whole lot of love for people and the people of God in particular. Join us here at A Soft Place to Fall. It's a platform where you can be restored, rejuvenated, and uplifted. Don't worry about how many mountains you successfully climb, how many goals you successfully achieve, how many initials you've earned at the back of your name. Go ahead and there for your convenience. Remember, only what you do for Christ will last. Find your soft place.